Cole gave us an opportunity to win, threw the ball great after we kind of wanted to keep his pitch count around 80 going in today. He got to 79, so that was right about what we wanted to get him to. I know, we could have pushed him, but I think that would have been dangerous for what he was coming off of last week, and that's the limit we were willing to go to with him. So he gave us all he had. Proud of him for that, and had a chance to win the game at that point. After that, we gave them too many outs that were, quite honestly unacceptable. Really, we got to make plays behind our staff a little bit better than we did, and gave them a few extra outs, a few extra bases, and ultimately runs that we couldn't afford to give up. Offensively, we just hit some balls hard, but we have to have a better approach than that. We were able to get to their starter there the second time through, but we weren't able to string much together. Toigo hit the homer after Contrada's triple. That was pretty much all the offense we could really muster tonight, which wasn't enough. So, a lot of areas that we could have done better, but this regular season is essentially over, and we got to look forward to where they send us, for regionals.
With that, we'll take questions for Coach or Cole Carlon. Go ahead, George.
George Lalone, Devil's Digest. Cole, just overall, how'd you feel on the mound today, both physically and then just kind of your start altogether?
Yeah, I felt good. I felt good up there physically. Mentally, I felt like I was in kind of the best headspace, some of the best headspace I was all year. I felt really good with executing my pitches, and I feel like that was probably the best that I felt with my command and just overall trying to do what I was trying to do every time. So I felt good.
Go ahead.
Jake Sloan, Sun Devil Source. Coach, what is just the feeling of the team heading into Selection Monday?
Obviously, we wanted to make a run in the conference tournament here and be playing tomorrow, but that obviously comes to an end tonight, which is disappointing. But we're excited with the momentum we have. We're anxious to find out where we're going and tee it up. I mean, we're I think we have the pieces that can do this thing. We just have to execute and click at the right time.
Coach Andrew Hazelwood, echo from the Buttes. You rolled out a few different options at the DH spot tonight. What was the reasoning for calling?
We're trying to get somebody to get some hits and produce. So it's a crapshoot. I'm trying to find somebody that can step up and get some hits when it counts. Is why I went with Cohen today, and I'm not going to second guess that decision, but I am going to take a closer look at Kai McGarry, because every time he comes in to pinch hit, he puts together a good at bat, and right now he's maybe giving us the best at bats that we can in that spot. So we'll figure that out here as we get into next week. But right now I'm just looking for some production at the DH spot.
Jamie Plunkett, 24/7 Sports. Coach, you mentioned a little bit of displeasure with the approach to the play tonight. What would you have preferred to see from your players in their approach?
First time through, we talked about this guy, and he's got a lot of really good east-west sink and movement on his ball left and right, and the plan was to get him up, get him elevated, and first time through we fell right into what he was trying to do. A lot of soft, weak ground balls, but second time through we made an adjustment. We were able to get him up, landing his second at bat, squared up a ball to center, and I think that was for the out there in the third inning. Last out in the third inning. Fourth inning, Contradas leads off with a triple. Toigo hits a homer. We started getting him elevated and started squaring the ball up a lot better off him. So that's the approach we got to have right out of the gates. Again, in today's world, you're always seeing velocity and not a lot of movement. This kid has really good movement on his ball. So we adjusted well, but just didn't find a lot of holes. And credit to them, they made some nice plays out there too, but we just couldn't string much together offensively.
Coach, what would you say from an offensive perspective needs to be worked on the most heading into the postseason?
Again, I think when we stick with our offensive approach as far as staying out from underneath the zone and early weak contact, and that's usually as a result of us chasing below the knees, and when we get pitches elevated, we seem to do a lot better. That's just kind of been a consistent throughout the whole year, and I get it, hitting's tough, but when you stick to a disciplined approach, good things usually happen, and this team is, when they do stick with that and they're able to stay on it and really define that, they've had good success. So to me, that's the biggest thing.
Kevin Kidner, Blue and Gold News. Coach, understanding that you're playing for a lot in here to get to the finals, this game was really intense. It felt like both dugouts, both fan bases, everything. Was that a carryover from the regular season series, or was it just because this was the way this game played out?
Either way, that doesn't matter, I guess, from a standpoint of I want our guys to play intense and ready to go. And whether that is a carryover from the regular season where we knew we had 3 tough games against them earlier in the year. We knew they're second place team in our conference. We finished right behind them. They're tough. They're a good team, and they're top 10 or 11 team in the country. And we knew it was going to be a battle and a grind, and we had our opportunity to win that game. At the end of the day, and intensity flaring up, I don't mind it. I mean, well, let's be honest. In today's world, that's kind of nice to see. At the end of the day, I mean, we're out here playing, they're out competing, we're competing, and guys are going at each other. That's kind of refreshing in my eyes. This isn't patty cake. This is baseball where we're trying to beat the other team, and sometimes emotions get elevated, and that's okay. I enjoy it. That's what we're playing for. So, proud of our guys, the way they battled, but we got to execute better.
Here and then here.
Easton Stockford, WCSN. Coach, it seemed like part of that intensity came from the crowd. What did you make of the support from the ASU fans all weekend?
No, they're great. I'm glad got the opportunity to play in front of them here in this the Big 12 tournament, and this was a far better atmosphere than a few years ago when we had it at Scottsdale. It felt like I don't know if the crowd was on top of us more or whatever, but it felt like a much better, much more intense environment, and I appreciate everybody coming out.
Coach, in the Oklahoma State series, you mentioned how you felt like you preached as much as you can about situational hitting. Since then, have you seen a response from your team in those aspects?
I think at times they've done very well. As far as today was just one of those cases we just didn't get a lot of opportunities. With runners in scoring position and guys on base. In the past we've been getting a whole village of base runners, and we just couldn't drive them in. Today we just didn't get a lot of guys that we could piece things together and put together hits and good at bats one after another. Again, we squared some balls up and hit balls hard, but just tough to find holes today. And again, they didn't. They made the routine plays for the most part and didn't give us any extra outs. Whereas we had that benefit yesterday, we got some extra outs from Cincinnati, but today wasn't the case. And again, they made some nice plays to credit their defense, but would still like to see some more stuff strung together.
Cole, Jacob Fredericks, WCSN. Coach talked about the emotions, how high it is, how he likes it for the postseason. How do you guys as players keep your emotions high without letting it kind of get out of control? Like what's the message between you guys, and what do you do for yourself to kind of keep yourself in check while still letting those emotions ride high for a postseason game?
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of an emotional guy, I'd say, when I'm pitching. So I kind of like that aspect, and kind of being able to get a little bit more juice flowing, a little more adrenaline. And I mean, if it comes to a point where we have to, I don't know, get super intense with each other, the other team, like that's good. It's good stuff good energy to have. But I feel like just kind of trying to contain that the best we can and use it in a positive way.
Last question.
Coach, what do you do between now and the regional to get prepared? What's the priority?
There was a couple guys that were, had we made it through today, that were ready to go tomorrow. Jaden Alba, Colby Guy, those were the pitchers we were going to rely on to give us a lot of length tomorrow. And they didn't get in, here these last couple days, so we're going to have them face some live hitters probably tomorrow. As much as I don't want to do that to the rest of the guys, but it's important that they stay on that schedule. And then we'll see where they send us on Monday. I keep thinking Sunday or Monday, but Monday morning we'll find out where they send us, and probably practice that day and do some things to stay sharp, probably live at bats throughout the week, and wherever they send us, we'll be ready to go.
Gentlemen,